Hi friends, my name is Rahul Jain. I'm a SEBI registered research analyst. In today's video, I'm going to speak about breakout stocks. Very important topic. No theory, all practical. I'm straight away jumping into tickertape.in, a website that I've been using for long time now. First thing we will do is we are going to click on screener here. Okay, you will see two options, stocks and mutual funds. We are interested in stocks, so we click on stocks and start screening. Now there are a lot of companies, more than 5,000 companies. How do we go about finding out breakout stocks? Okay, the reason I'm not showing you the name of these companies is because the data will change depending on when you are watching this video. Please concentrate on steps that I'm going to execute. This is a very important video. Okay, first thing we will do is we will get rid of all of these filter criteria here. Okay, PB ratio, return on equity, just get rid of all of them. We want to start afresh here. Okay, we are not worried about anything else here. Now, the first criteria that we are going to do is we are going to select stock universe, which is Nifty 500. I am only interested in top 500 companies. I don't want to go to micro cap companies because they are very risky. They are very illiquid as well. So 500 is a top universe that I've selected. The second criteria that I'm going to add here is going to be percentage away from 52-week high. Okay. Now, what is this criteria? So percentage away from 52-week high is going to show us that how far these companies are from their previous 52-week high. If you go back to last 1 year, there would have been a high point in terms of the stock price. How far the current price is from that 52-week high point. Okay, that is what we want to know. Now, for example, the first company is only 10% away from the 52-week high. Second one is 30% away. Right? What we want to get to is only those companies where the current price is very close to 52-week high. Okay. For that, what we are going to do is click on near 52-week high, which is telling you the companies that are between 0 to 3% price range in terms of their 52-week high. Okay. Now, why are we doing this? This we are doing mainly because we want to know those companies that are trading very close to a 52-week high. Because when a company is trading at almost their 52-week high, it tells you that the company is in momentum. There is a huge buying that is happening potentially in that particular company. Okay. Now, whether that buying can sustain or not, that is a secondary question. We are going to find out that as well in a few minutes. But the idea is to first shortlist those companies that are showing good price momentum. Okay. Now here you see 43 companies. Not all of these companies are the ones that we want to analyze. We don't have so much of time. We want to get to 10 to 15 stocks where we can see some other parameters as well. Okay. Now, one more point, investors sometimes are divided into two camps. One camp says that, you know what, when a stock is nearing 52-week high, it might not go above that 52-week high because 52-week high might act as a resistance. Okay. While the second camp says that there are chances that this 52-week high can be crossed and stock may continue further up. Okay. Both possibilities do exist. Therefore, we need some more parameters to be able to confirm few other things. Okay. Because of that, we are going to introduce second parameter. The second parameter is also very important. It is called on balance volume. Okay, 1 week change in on balance volume. This is a pro filter here. And if you're not yet a member of Tickertape, please become a member of Tickertape. You are going to use all these pro filters. I've been using it from 2023 and I have massively benefited myself. I've given you the link in the description and in the pinned comment as well. If you use my link, then you're going to get 45% off on the annual plan. Okay, it's a very good offer, one-time offer you can avail. Okay, now coming back to this on balance volume, what is this? This is like a volume confirmation that you're getting. So first of all, what is on balance volume? Let me explain to you in the next 30 seconds. Let's take an example of a stock. Okay, if a stock on a Friday closed at 80 rupees, closing price is 80 rupees, the volume on that day, Friday, was 900. Okay, and let us assume the on balance volume that I will explain you in a minute is X. Okay, it's a volume, right? Now on Monday, first day of the week, right, the closing price was 100 rupees and the volume on Monday was 1000, right? How will this on balance volume now change? Because 100 is higher than 80, so the closing price is higher than the previous closing price, this 1000 will get added into the on balance volume. Right? What is it showing you? That on Monday, since the stock closed higher, it means the stock had a lot of strength inside it. And that 1000 volume is showing you that a lot of buying happened in the stock, right? So the stock is looking very strong, right? Likewise, on second day, if again the price closes very high, 120, the volume was 2000, this 2000 will also get added. So if that on balance volume is increasing, what is it telling you? It is telling you that the stock is showing very good buyers in the market. The volumes are high, the price is going up. Both price and volume are giving you confirmation. All right. Let us assume that on fourth day, the price drops. It drops to 120 from the previous close. Okay. Here the volume was 4000. What does it tell you? That a lot of selling happened on that particular day. And therefore this 4000 will be deducted from on balance volume, right? This is how on balance volume is calculated. It is basically adding volume or reducing volume depending on the closing price. Okay, it is actually telling you what is happening from a price perspective, right? Now, if I were to calculate this week's on balance volume and compare that with the previous week's on balance volume, and if I find out that this week's on balance volume is higher, meaning what? The stock is looking very, very strong. Okay, that is precisely the filter that we are going to use. What is the change in the on balance volume in the 1 week? So if I add that up here and we say that give me only those companies where the on balance volume change in percentage is high, meaning that these companies are showing very, very strong volume confirmation in addition to being very, very close to 52-week high. I hope you get these two technical indicators right. These are very, very solid indicators that we need to use. Now, it doesn't mean that these are the only indicators you can use, but definitely by using these two technical indicators, you are going to get a lot of good shortlisted companies out which are showing momentum. Now, technical alone should not make you buy a particular company. In my view, you also need to look at valuations as well as fundamentals. So for valuations, two simple parameters I'm going to add here. One of them is P premium. So I'm going to say P premium versus subsector. What does this mean? Simply, for example, financials is the sector, subsector is, let's say, banks. I want to check and only include those companies in my study, those companies where the P premium and the subsector, if I look at, the company is trading at a discount rather than premium. Okay, so I'm going to add that up here. Similar one is PB, right? Price to book. So I'm going to add price to book here as well. So price to book premium versus subsector. Okay, I've added these two here. Okay, now what I will do is when it comes to price to book, I definitely only want to consider those companies that are trading at a discount versus subsector. For example, any bank, XYZ bank, is trading at a lower price to book than the subsector, then that's a good valuation parameter, right? Meaning the stock is undervalued. Right? So I'm going to click on discount here and you will see few companies coming up now, only 12 companies coming there. Now coming to P premium versus subsector, I've just put it there for additional purposes only. Now I'm not going to filter out companies based on P premium versus subsector. Reason is very, very simple, that it is absolutely fine for a company to trade at a premium when it comes to P ratio, because maybe they are going to have a lot of earnings coming up in the next few quarters. And that's why they're enjoying this high P. So I'm absolutely fine that. It is only for information purposes here that I've added here. These are both pro filters. Therefore, I've added them here. These 4 filters are enough to give me 10 to 15 companies out of 500 companies, giving me that these companies have got some strong momentum build up. Valuations wise, they are not like crazy high. I've checked the price to book ratio of these companies, meaning that they are not exorbitantly high. Okay, this is the filter criteria we are going to use. Now comes the fun part, that we have to look at some of these companies and try and find out what is the fundamental reason of the company's stock price to go very, very high. There is something that is happening in the company which is warranting that the stock price is going very, very high. Everybody is buying that particular company. We want to make sure that we know exactly what is the fundamental reason. How to find that out? Let me show you a couple of examples. So out of these companies, I'm going to select one of these companies. So I click on that particular company, open it in a new window. Okay, the first thing I'm going to look at is the financials. Okay, let's go to financials, and very quickly you will see that if you look at the top line, March quarter results have come out and you see a huge jump in the top line. Okay, 1227 crores say 1846 crore. That's a huge jump compared to the previous quarters if you go and note that, right? Also, if you look at the net income here, it has jumped almost 2x from 97 crores to 178 crores. So clearly what we see is that the Q4 results for this particular company has been phenomenal, right? In fact, you can go and do the growth view here. Okay, that tells you percentage wise as well, 82% hike in the net profit in Q4 number. Okay, and also if I show you the normal view here, so let me go back to normal view, and what you see is that in June 2025, company declared a loss of 32 crore. While in the last 3 quarters, it has done very, very good in profitability, right? 67 crores, 97 crores, 178 crores. So it means Q4 is showing even better results right now from a financials perspective. So fundamentally, last 3 quarters have been very, very good as compared to previous years, right? That gives you one insight that fundamentals have been improving when it comes to financials. Likewise, you can go and read the balance sheet here, cash flows here. I'm not going into a lot of details here, but hope you get the point that you can analyze the financial statements. Now go back to the sentimental analysis. That is very, very important. Right now it is showing you February con call, which is Q3 con call. Q4 con call is not yet here, but what the Q3 was telling us. So if you read the challenges here, in Q3, it was talking about declining revenue, profitability, year-on-year basis, right? And now the companies completely changed that in Q4. So guess what is happening? Investors who might have dumped this stock last quarter are now coming back to this particular company, and we have seen that because of the stock price up, volume up, using those two filters that initially I showed you, right? Percentage away from 52-week high and the on balance volume. I hope you get the picture. We have seen the technical confirmation, and now what we are looking at is the fundamentals in terms of how the financials are improving. You can go through all the sentimental analysis. I'm not going to go through here, but one of the important point here, for example, you gather here is that the demand for optical fiber cables. So this company is into optical fiber cables, and you clearly read what is happening here. More importantly, what you need to do is go into the financials, and below you will see some presentations here. Okay, so if you come down here, you will see the April investor presentation. Click on that. Okay, this is how step by step you need to go through and analyze these companies. It's not just the technicals or fundamentals. You need to now find out what is the root cause that the quarterly revenues and the profit is very, very high. What has caused here, and can it sustain for the next few quarters or not? That is the key question we want to know. So for example, here I've opened the presentation. I've gone to page number 7. Okay, here on page number 7, I found something very, very interesting. What are the things? First of all, the company is saying the order book is more than 21,000 crores. Okay, and the order book has expanded 3 times in the last 1 year. So the pipeline is very, very good. More importantly, what is driving this order book? The next level of question. We need to continue to ask these questions until we get to the bottom of it in terms of what is really driving this huge order book and the profitability. And very quickly you will see that because of the AI data centers need 1728 plus fiber cables, which is 30 times more fiber per AI rack. That is driving their business right now. Okay, you can read a lot of details about it. Other important point you will note is the supply constraint, that there is a huge demand coming from AI for the optical fibers, but from a supply perspective, there is very, very limited supply. And therefore, the company is sitting on a very, very good order book right now, because there are very limited players in the market who can actually supply this sort of optical fibers. Now, if you can read all of these details, hyperscalers, data centers, they are asking for a lot of infra, and optical fiber is one of them. You understand where this company's inflection point is right now. Technicals looking very good, fundamentals looking very, very good, order book 3 times high, and you see the commentary where this entire rationale is coming from. Now you also know the risk immediately. You know that if for whatever reason AI story hits a ceiling, or there is a bad news about AI, or something comes out in the market, there is a risk. So you understand when to exit this company if you were to make an entry into this company right now. As soon as there is a bad news about AI, you completely come out of this company. That is how you need to go about entering, exiting, understanding technical fundamentals. I've given you this one example. Let me give you another example. Again, not a recommendation here, any of these companies, but hope you're getting this understanding of how to go about selecting stocks that are breakout stocks. Now let me open the second company for you here. Right click, open link in the new tab, and I've opened it here. And first thing we will do is go to financials. What you note here in financials is that March quarterly results have come out. What do you note? Top line has not grown. Okay, but if you look at the profits, they have doubled, more than doubled, 205 crore to 534 crore. That is huge jump in the profitability. Okay, this is why potentially that investors are flocking around this particular company. You can again go and analyze the balance sheet, cash flow, etc. I'm not going into a lot of details, but go to the sentimental analysis here. Now this sentimental analysis is based on January 2026 con call, because the April con call data is yet to come out. But what you note here is the decline in the deposits and the CASA balance, because this is a bank. Okay, this was the problem in the last quarterly updates. While what you can do is open up this presentation. So if you come down here and open the presentation here, April 28 presentation, let's see what is happening here. Okay. So if I open it up here and go and read what is happening in the KPIs of this particular bank. So first of all, here, if you look at the deposit, it's grown by 10%. In the previous quarter, we saw that the deposits were declining. So this is a good story, turnaround story potentially. If you look at the gross advances, that have also grown up by around 12.6%. Look at the GNPA and NNPA, which is the quality of asset quality of a bank, right? Here, the GNPA has reduced by 144 basis point. That's a huge improvement. If you look at net NPAs, that also have dropped by around 32 basis point. That's a very, very good improvement in the quality of this bank. Okay. Likewise, you can read all other parameters. ROA, for example, 40 basis point up. Return on asset has crossed 1% for this particular bank. Very, very good improvement. Okay. Again, I know about this particular bank. I know about their non-EEB book. Okay, I know the history about this particular bank. You might not know about it. Here, their non-EEB book has grown up by around 24%. This has been one of the bugbears of this particular bank, that their non-EEB book has not been growing at a great speed, but now in this quarter, it has grown by 24%. These are some very, very good fundamental parameters that is giving you all the good signals about the bank. If you already hold it, this is not the time to exit it. This is not the time to book this profits and come out. This is the time to sit and just watch the stock rally. Because we have looked at technicals, we have looked at valuations, we have looked at fundamentals, we have looked at all these 3-4 parameters. And that's the best we can do. After that, then this is our luck or fate or whatever you want to call it. Tomorrow, for whatever reason, if the market, overall broader markets fall because of some bad news geopolitically, Trump does something else, that is not in our control. But at least this much of analysis, if you do, then you are not picking wrong stocks, you are picking good stocks. The reason I have not shown you the names of the stocks is that the data is likely to change depending on when you are watching this video. I really wanted to teach you this method. I've given you everything that I know about breakout stocks. If I missed out anything, do let me know in the comments. You can add it in the comments. What is your view on these technical parameters, fundamental parameters, valuation parameters? Given you the link of ticker tape as well, 45% off on their annual plan if you want to take the Pro membership. Using Pro, you get a lot of additional filters in mutual funds as well as stocks, and you can use those filters to do better analysis. Okay, that's the entire point here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, press the like button. Let me know in the comments a simple thank you. Also, please let me know in the comments whether I should continue to bring these topics to you as well, which are mix of technical, fundamental, valuation, so that you continue to learn. With that, I'm going to see you in my next video. Until then, keep rocking.